As an empowered woman, I can share with you all that any person who's empowered will know clearly what it is they want in a relationship. And it's called vulnerability, emotional, mental, and physical. So that means a person who is working with their inner child in the forefront as an adult, prefrontal cortex. And so we talk about all, if you're working with somebody for personality disorders, if you're working with somebody with childhood trauma, so they have good therapists, they will be able to share those emotional triggers, and we all work together. I'm attachment trauma informed. I'm a 5D mystic in the Enlightenment Soul Age group. I'm a functional adult, and I share with you the lovely, infinite, higher human consciousness potential experience with my voices and stories. And so today, I want to start with a quote that I shared in 2015. So that's a long time ago. It's by Herbert Swope, Swope. I cannot give you the formula for success, but I can give you the formula for failure, which is try to please everybody. So when you're a whole 3-year-old heart, as a teenager, I learned that I would not be pleasing anyone except for Maria. And that's not because I don't live a spirituality life. No, I do. I live a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. I have a twin, and she's the one that began that journey with me, and then all the other people. My mom, obviously, secure attachment, okay? So when you have a home that is welcoming and united, you know secure attachment, differentiation of self, and that you're beautiful just the way you are. So when I meet people who don't know that, I get to share that with them, but I also know about Terry Real, Unfinished Business people, and again, Patrick Tihan for childhood trauma survivors, and Dr. Daniel Fox for those who have personality disorders. So I know that everyone with their mindset can get emotions and thoughts in the forefront. Okay, so an empowered woman, 5D mystic. I have twin flames and soulmates, no saga. Okay, and with that being said, you're not going to please anyone ever 100%, which is not our job. I got taught by my mother, you're a person, go do your life and leave others to do theirs. You have emotions, don't worry. Not everybody's always going to be able to be there, but it's good. You just keep doing you. So with that being said, when you know integration of the brain, it's called your consciousness. Thank you, Daniel Siegel. And it's called also not feeling ever changed, just more of you. It's also the restorative embodiment of you. And with that, here's what I can tell you about reactivity. I have a 3-year-old, her name's Maria, and she comes up with my mother and my twin. And then within my solo polyamory lifestyle, as a securely attached woman, I will not have filters for those who are potential partners for me. Why? Because you need to be able to speak to me. And if you can't, well, then we're not partners, because partners means that I get to hear about stuff, but also you're not going to bring to me your projection. So here's the other thing. We're a human love narrative, not human suffering. And there's a very different tune that you will hear from people who do the human suffering. They actually have this way to, let me think, teenagers. They remind me of my teenager friends. So I'm going to talk about that one. That way I can make it clear. Drama kings, queens, and days. They don't have their 0-1-year-old, okay? And so they will be like, why do I always get the person who doesn't ever pay attention to me, Maria? Why don't I ever have friends who love me the same way I love myself or I love people? I noticed this as teenagers. People would complain about being misunderstood from home. I did the same. And I said, I'm going to stop doing that because I'm not accepted. I don't feel felt, which is okay because we're all different people. It's called differentiation of the self and not being an insecure human being. And so you welcome your herd, your family, as they are. And that's why you recalibrate to your social engagement system and you consistently stay present in your prefrontal cortex. No charges, prefrontal cortex. You learn to be here in moments as you're growing up. So that's why the inner growth mindset, there's the 3 levels, because you get to neutrality and duality. Once you've decided, I'm going to do it again and again and again to work with the emotional plane. No laundry. It's love here. Okay. So again, with being aware of yourself, it's because you say, yeah, I have thoughts, I have emotions. So when people present, you're doing your tone thing, you're here, I've always paused to consider it. And then I've recalibrated. And when I'm being, again, seen, then I get to expand and be who I am, the authentic self, the mystic, the person who can share anything and everything. And I'll know because I will feel my tango partner and partners. Okay? I will also feel those who are not tango partners because they step on my toes. So if somebody gets snooty and snappity with me, and right now we're going to focus on that romance, yeah, you've done it. That's it. And I have no romance with you. You just made my 1-year-old, 3-year-old very sad inside, and I'm going to recalibrate. I'm not going to bring to you my nervous system because I'm a solo poly because I know how to do my own safe haven and secure base. I'm going to have fun tomorrow again without you because what you did is you didn't hear yourself. Now, what's going to happen is if you're aware of yourself, you're going to say, hey, you know what? I actually am in a bad mood today. So when you do this thing, I know that this is part of who you are, but I'm not tolerating it right now because I have this mood. That's a person who can present to you in a very specific way. And I've had it happen. That's why I'm giving it to you as an example. And as you have your tango partners, it keeps getting better and better because the person who's not, oh no, they did it that way. Okay, that's how some women act that I've met. And it's like, okay, really? Men, I don't deal with men because men, I'm going to put that to the side right now because I can't handle love dependent men, women, or theys. But when I'm thinking about a man who's desperate and manipulative, right now I'm thinking of the scenario that I dealt with, and I'm just like gonna laugh and get off topic. So I want to stay on topic right now. Okay, so what I was trying to get to is peace is a consciousness. They know who they are, and so they know how they're going to behave when they're dealing with someone and or anything that is not within their spectrum of what they want in that moment. And so they just say, you know what, right now is not the time. And that's where a person who's empowered, a woman, won't be like, oh, they you won't feel your step, you won't feel your your feet stepped on because it's said to you with a person who's aware of you. And that's the difference. So when you're feeling felt, it's because you've been seen, and that's because another human being, man, woman, or they might they be, wants your nervous system always to be in a soothed state. This doesn't happen because we speak like this. This happens organically because that's what differentiated self people do. Those are empowered women, men, and theys. They accept who they are and they know how they work. So they know what their mood brings to the table and they know what they can tolerate and can't. So they present it to the people they love so that they can enjoy their moment of moodiness, and the person and or people who are not going to be supportive, if you will, they can just fuck off. Okay, that's how I'm going to put it. And I love those. I love those empowered people in my life because it's a beautiful tango again. Okay, so with that being shared, what I was going to get to on the other end is where if I am interacting and you are having a day and you get snappity and I am going to notice that you don't notice that you're using a snappity tone, I know that I have an unconscious, a human being who's not caring about what they're bringing to the table. But I also can know, thanks to Stephen Porges, that they're not doing it on purpose to be biologically rude, that they are overwhelmed in that moment with their emotional stuff. And that's the part of where my compassion comes in as Pacha. I don't need to lecture anyone because they're having a day. So obviously, an empowered woman, again, will know the difference. So do I want to build a home with a person who has no awareness of their snappity? No, I don't. I won't. And that's because I will know you're not putting in any foot into doing anything about your mood. If you were, you would be aware of yourself. And that's because you would hear yourself as you're engaging with me with awareness towards me. So you're going to know when people have space to grow a tango or not. Okay, and nobody needs to go telling somebody what to grow in their life, is what I'm also going to present. So, an empowered woman, man or they, we're not martyrs or superiors. Those are the people who are in codependent type relationships. They want to train their lovers. We don't train people, okay, and we don't do unfinished business. Here we grow emotionally mature and aware people business, and mentally mature and aware people business. It's personal development, self-help. So if you come here, you want to learn how to harness compassion and to be an inner child adult and to expand and build snow people and mer people, and so have fun. No boxing gloves needed, no sympathetic needed. No, we learn how to get out of the adaptive child because that's when the sympathetic and the modulated embodied is. You get to learn how to not bring your 16-year-old teenage fight response into the room, but instead to say, wow, okay, so what happens when you're just organically doing this on your own without the need of others? What happens is, one, when people present to you, your tone, your body language, anything, you pause and you actually think about it, not in a way that's, oh, I'm so offended. Let me give you an example. Okay, so this is not with lovers. This is with people who have been in my friend circle stuff. Okay, and so I was going through a breakup of some sort. One of the, how many are there? Well, there's three, because twin flames, we don't break up. That's where we like situationships, the solo poly, because our relationships, there's no hierarchy, there's no labels, it's all good, because we're learning how to continue to have fun in life. That's because a secure attachment person isn't a masochist. We don't have this masochism, we have compersion. It's called that I'm happy that you're happy. You got other lovers, great. I'm not the one for you, great again. You learn how to move past things like this because it happens. I'm 44, not, a 20-year-old. I can totally get where a 20-year-old will have a very different emotional experience because that might be your first breakup. I remember high-fiving the air a month later. I was 19. I was like, thank goodness. Oh, I was so happy that he broke up with me. And I was so much given a gift. And then I got to have another couple relationships. And by the third, I'm like, open relationship. That's what I want. And then we got to also part ways and stay friends. In fact, my lovely oversoul expands. So only one of the human beings out of my young, I was going to say child, but not child. But to me, anything below 30 is basically you're still immature, because your executive decision making functions haven't completely established. So I know your brain's continuing to expand, evolve, no, grow, to actively grow. And this is not made up. It's 25 physically for women, 27 physically for men. I'm sure that they're going to keep on looking into it and confirm it and whatnot. But so far, that's what the data shows, is that your executive decision making function areas of the brain, which I believe are here, the frontal lobes, will finish developing at the ages that I said. So in my book, anyone who's before that, and when I think of me as a 20-year-old, yeah, I had some more growing up to do. And in fact, my limbic system, I learned to bring my prefrontal cortex down about the age-ish of 30-ish probably, I'm going to say. I had my twin flame one already in the mix, something like that. Okay, so long story short, which story was I going to share? I was going to share that I was happy when I got broken up with. And that's why every time I've gotten to move past loving one person, past the one, it's like, okay, yeah, of course there's ways I can see it could have gone. It didn't go. Okay, and so you move into more love, not less. So it's not, why me? Why me? That's not what an empowered person does. You do, wow, I grew here, I grew here, I grew here. They're awesome. They're doing great. Happy for all of them. And that's what happens when you're happy for people that are happy in life and they choose what they want. Now, I'm going to say this. There's aspects that I, as a divine feminine, so I know about you being able to tap into the infinite you. Okay, so remember how feminine can see the infinite potential of all masculines. I learned this from a rabbi. Yes, but we don't get sad because we are going to not see you go there. We're going to learn how to accept that we don't affect states of consciousness. Thank you, Sadhguru. In my case, it's because if you don't get a good therapist or good anything in your life and become aware of yourself, you're going to stay your 16-year-old version with a 3-year-old broken heart. It's as simple as math for me. So I don't feel bad because that would be disrespectful towards people who say, no, Maria, I know what life is. It sucks. I know what men are. They suck. I know what women are. They suck. I know what the world is. It sucks. Everything sucks. Yep, everyone's fucked up. Yep, sure. You know what? Sayonara. So that's the little wheel, the bus round and round. Okay, so that's for a side note. Powered people in our relationships. The story is that you grow more loving and excited, especially with attachment trauma information people out there, helping people to become their mature, emotionally conscious people, adults. And that's why we won't share a home with somebody who doesn't want to take their inner child and grow up and become the most amazing version of themselves that already lives within them. It's called Purusha Prakriti, your pure consciousness when you get to unconditional love. And you are that. In a restorative embodiment and in an integrated brain, Prakriti is pure energy. It's your 3-year-old. She's right here. That's why if you don't notice my 3-year-old, I will. I'll be like, okay. It's So the example with the friend So what happened was I got answered in this cold way. And in my head, I was like, that's a not nice way to answer me. And I was like, well, you don't have to be a baby about it because really they're just being straight with you. And I think you deserve to be straight with. No, I just said she's just being straight with you. That's it. That's the personality. You know who it is. And then there you go. You don't be, oh, I want to whine about it. Oh, I want to be cuddled about it. That's it. It's Jacob personality. It's I'm objective. Sometimes I can get emotional, and some people don't get emotional. I don't need to have an opinion about that, a judgment. I mean, I can say I don't like it. That's my stuff. I don't have to impose that I want a person who's emotionally available. Okay? That's the part of why we're a safe haven secure base. So I don't need you to pity party me. I don't need to pity party myself. I know how to tend to emotions because they're right here. And I don't have to make a big deal out of it. This is the prefrontal cortex versus ruminating. What people do is they don't notice that emotions are 90 seconds when you're reflective immediately in the inner growth mindset. Here it is. And so, an empowered woman, don't cramp my style. When people don't vibe human love, they're cramping my style. So I'm going to be like, nope, 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 not that chord, not that chord, not that chord. Okay, that chord I like because that chord is vibing their vibe. I'm vibing my vibe. And when we vibe together, there's a mui. That's because they care about my emotions and my thoughts. And I can tell because every time I'm around them, I laugh more, not less. Every time I'm around them, their mood doesn't affect me. It affects nothing. We talk about moods. We talk about states of consciousness. We talk about everything. We talk about brain stuff, okay? And so that's where you find empowered women, men, and days. It's with people who are emotionally, mentally present, aware, accountable, self regulating, not projecting, and not, okay, so any of that, I totally know men that are awesomely awesome, and they deserve to be with women who are awesomely awesome, as every person does. But we have a group of people, mantles of mental health, mantles of yoga, mantles of spirituality. They're spiritual bypassers. They're teenagers with their, little superhero capes, and those are for people who have unfinished business, and they get to do unfinished business with the other superhero capes and the supervillain capes. And those are other types of relationships. At IHP, we get to be inner child adults and be empowered women, men, and days who share not only a safe haven, secure base for people who are working on their maladaptive child moods from personality disorders and they're getting out of it, as well as the childhood trauma survivors who are also working with their adaptive child and getting out of the shame, blame, fault, and safety behaviors. And so they're learning, I want healthy self worth partners. Healthy self worth means, like the quote that I read, we are not here to please people. We will not be pleasing everybody. You will not please anyone. And that is not your job to please someone. Those are please appeasers, or the shame submissive, or the attached cry. So those are safety behaviors. You'll know that people won't like you when they're love dependents and they're manipulative and desperate, or controlling and angry. The love avoidance won't like you, but they'll just leave because you're so consistent that their heart keeps on wanting to open up and they don't want it. And so they shut it down. And then there are also people who end up in, that whole unfinished business stuff. We're going to put it aside. Again, women, we know what we want, men and theys, and that is clarity. So you clearly know who you are, what you bring to the table, thoughts, emotions. You talk about it with me. You're going to be vulnerable. I'm going to be vulnerable. So the depths of my experience gets felt. The depths of your experience gets felt. And when we're vibing, it's always in a state of love because that's what secure attachment relationships are. I'm a safe haven. I want my nervous system and your nervous system to be in the social engagement. I'm a secure base. You're a secure base. I love to learn about what you're passionate about. I want to learn what you're passionate about. I'm not going to make a big deal if you're making a big deal. I'm not going to make a big deal. We learn how to have the open-heartedness to be there and not allow what is from the past, 3 years implicit memory, the explicit memory, affect the present. We talk about it, and we'll have another episode about that one so I can share, because I've done plenty of talking, and you're plenty awareness of what is from the past that comes with you and that can be discussed with an emotionally available, vulnerable man, woman, or they. And that means that they're not judgmental of your past lovers, of your past anything. In fact, they don't do judgment. Judgment is of people who are not yet aware of their inner child adults because they're casting stone. We all have opinions and we all have feelings that accompany it. It's called likes and dislikes. You can put it right over here and then have a grown up conversation. And that's what this is. Spirituality is living a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. So moving into the prefrontal cortex. Self-help, personal development for people who want to be their authentic self. Being yourself is this. And it's loving all 8 billion and growing. They're all 0 1-year-olds. The ones who don't move into their authentic self, they all need good therapists. And we put them surrounded by them so that they can know we love you. We're just going to surround you with a good therapist so that your maladaptive child behavior and adaptive child can learn about being a human. Maybe one day you'll get out of the mantle cape. Maybe not, but we'll watch you from afar. And if you interact with us, we'll know how to treat you right, because we're going to look at you, accept, respect, and tell you, nope, not going to be friends, love dependent human being. No, sorry. You are decent, just not my friend. Acquaintance, no, not even. You're just a passerby. Made it very clear in 3 years I've never even bothered engaging with you at all. And so this is how it is. We are not here to please anyone. And we're not here to say, oh, I should feel bad. No, I don't, because I am a clear cut person. And if you don't notice it at your 50 plus years of age, well, I'm wondering, Cusco, teenagers, and this is how we're going to go. Again, we don't mean to hurt people's feelings, but there's ways that people really don't grow up and then they don't do personal development, self-help, or therapy for that matter. And they really could. They don't need to bring it over to a person who's minding their own business and has not brought them 1 inch of interaction. I'm just saying, because I can totally know when there's mixed signals. I've been told it a lot. Whenever somebody says mixed signals, I learn how to become a better communicator. I have learned, thanks to all of my oversoul, how to say very clearly always who I am to the extent that people that know me, you put walls up. No, I don't. These are not walls. This is me saying who I am, what I want, and that's it. I don't change. And people have kept telling me, you will change. No, I expand. I expand to become more of me. Stop telling me who I am. So we talked about that yesterday. You can tune into Authentic Self, what it's like to be you, and all of that great stuff. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you for stopping by, and we'll be back with more.